I just want white people to have a place to live.
This is our home! What I say?
Hey, remember when I got on the internet and told you that Donald Trump wears a diaper and he shits himself all day, every day, and then he also wears a catheter? And we know all of this because multiple staffers have come out and said that Donald Trump smells like shit, and also he had a diaper changer on The Apprentice. Someone was literally hired just to change his diaper on The Apprentice. Yeah, there's a few people in my comment section who are a little confused about how that happened. It's not because he's just an 80-year-old man with dementia. He's been in diapers since the 90s.
What do you mean that in the Epstein files there is an alleged email between Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell where Ghislaine starts off telling Jeffrey that Trump is currently on his way to the island, as in he's mid-flight, to which Jeffrey says, well, make sure you know you have enough diapers on hand, he'll be staying a week. So stock up for that, because last time we didn't have enough and he shit everywhere, he could not control it, and I had to burn everything.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I didn't do fucking shit.
I like to shit. You like to shit. We like to shit. This is shitting.
Epstein turned parts of our country into a playground for the super rich. Children, vulnerable kids from poor communities, were taken, stripped, released into isolated terrain, and hunted like animals. Guns, dogs, helicopters. For sport.
Mitch, we have to bring slavery back. Those were the good old days. Kevin, how will we do that? There's no way we can do that. Mitch, black people won't do it, but white people will. Kevin.
You know, some people want the age of consent to be 4.
What? Fucking hell, man. What country's this?
UK,
No
our nation, yes.
What?
On the same day the FBI opened its investigation, he bought 6 55-gallon drums of sulfuric acid.
These videos all came from exhibits presented by prosecutors in court. At NPR, we reviewed thousands of these videos, and they show how people didn't just smash windows and doors to storm the building, they also used the riot to steal stuff.
Yo, take laptops, paperwork, take everything.
They found the leader of the Somali scammers, and you won't believe this. The person who defrauded the United States government out of $250 million. Mastermind the whole scheme, right? Wait for this, right? This is the leader of the Somali scammers.
Looking live at downtown Minneapolis, where a protester dressed in a full-body foam hand flipping the bird is somehow outrunning federal agents on what appears to be an oversized office chair with wheels. This has been going on for several blocks now.
Where does mariachi actually come from? And is it true that it actually has West African roots?
Look. Nigga.
Ma.
Douglas, don't do that. You better take that plate right back in that kitchen, nigga. Yeah.
Shout out Martin Luther King, that nigga had a dream. Fuck do you mean? That nigga had a dream. Martin Luther King. Hey, Martin Luther King, shout out to Big Bro. If it wasn't for Big Bro, I wouldn't be rapping though. If it wasn't for him,
I like to shit. You like to shit. We like to shit. This is shitting.
Adam Sandler is married to Jackie Titone. She appears in a lot of his movies. We all pretty much know her. But did you know her dad, Joey Titone? A Florida lawyer who defended Jean-Luc Brunel, an associate of Epstein, in 2015. Brunel had been involved in many scandals starting in the 90s before this, particularly because he ran a modeling agency that was involved in the sex trafficking. He even flew 3 12-year-old girls from France to the U.S. as a birthday gift for Epstein. So, you know, we don't need to play coy and assume Joe didn't know, because that happened years prior. Brunel was one of many suppliers. Virginia Jeffrey, a victim, came forward and said that Epstein bragged about sleeping with over 1,000 of Brunel's girls. After Epstein's death, Brunel went into hiding because he knew he'd probably be next. So police started investigating Brunel and arrested him on charges of human trafficking, criminal conspiracy, and sexual assault, all involving minors. While awaiting trial, he was found hanging in his prison cell, just like Epstein. Now, a friend of both Brunel and Epstein in the same modeling world was Paolo Zampoli. He was actually Melania Knauss's modeling agent. He filed her H-1B visa paperwork. He even said that she wasn't working for money in the U.S. prior to receiving the visa because that's illegal. But that was a lie because she actually had been paid over $20,000 for 10 different modeling gigs in America prior to obtaining her visa, which is immigration fraud. Paolo Zampoli, her accomplice, is the one who introduced her to her husband, Donald Trump. Back to Jackie. She started modeling in late high school in Florida, and no matter how hard I look, I can't find her modeling agency.
All got the same agenda, because obviously if you lower
To what age? 14?
Oh, no, some people want the age of consent to be 4.
What? Fucking hell, man. What country's this?
UK,
No way.
our nation, yes.
What?
I mean, this is not... If you look at the people who are involved in the paedophile information exchange, which was had most of its power probably from the 70s onwards, 80s, 90s. They had funding from the Home Office in the 90s. Those people are still around. In fact, one of the members of the paedophile information exchange is the treasurer of Edinburgh Pride. Yeah. So these people are still around. These people are still around.
Yeah.
And they're still in our environment. They're still bringing pressure to bear on reducing the age of consent, right? And some of them are academics, and they look very, very, professional as they're talking about the importance of, giving children their own autonomy. And no, so I would keep it at 16. I mean, arguably, neither male or female, certainly females, are not ready really to deal with the emotions that come with a sexual relationship at 16. That can be problematic. But
you're still growing as a person. You're
exactly.
Men will put their in what they can put it in.
And they won't stay with them, but they will marry.
She just sat here and looked at all of us and said, oh, this is what men want.
I mean, ask them.
I seem to have a problem a little bit with men, like just comments that you're making, but yet you...
I have no problem with men. I'm straight. I love men.
I've just heard like multiple just negative comments about men. Like
you
they like
do
to
realize
put their...
that men are responsible for 90% of the violent crime.
But you're sleeping with many of them.
Yeah,
so
but
do
we
like...
still love men. Saying, oh, I'm anti-man. I'm not.
I didn't say you were anti-man.
Men. A lot of them.
I didn't say you were anti-man. I'm pretty sure that we all
being labeled
love
as
men.
anti-man. We're not. In fact, I think feminists help men because we're trying to relieve a little bit of pressure off of them. Like,
but they're not asking you that.
anti-man.
They would rather you just respect them. They would just rather respect. They don't care about none of the things you have to offer.
Just because we don't worship men doesn't mean that we don't like them. I don't put them on a pedestal. I don't treat them like they're princes. I'm not like, oh, what great, amazing dudes. I like men just fine. I'm unfortunately straight too.
Question on this side, especially for those of you who love men, right?
Yeah.
Right. What can you tell me some things you love about men?
I like men the same reasons I like women. These are all just human traits. You're funny, you're smart, you're good looking, you take care of me. I have girlfriends like that. I'm not by side.
But we're not talking about
friends or girls.
We're talking because you said that a lot of people think feminists hate men. I want to know, without talking about women, only talking about men, what do you like about men?
I guess I'm trying to think about what makes men unique, though, because when I like a man, they're funny, they're smart, they're good looking. But I could describe a woman with these terms.
Okay, so you don't think that there are things about men that are unique necessarily?
Well, I mean, I'm born straight, so I can't say I choose to be attracted to men. Like this is how I was born. You know what I mean?
Right. So I think that I'm sexually attracted to men. I think they're pretty much the exact same as women. But if I were choosing to hang out with someone one-on-one, I'd probably pick a woman because I'd probably be safer because they probably wouldn't be trying to, I don't know, have sex with me as an ulterior motive.
So it sounds like a lot of...
I just don't see men as a special category that they need to be worshipped in some separate way. Like, oh, men are really the reason why I'm here.
But don't you know that men allow you to have your rights? Because if it really came down to it, they can just overpower you and take all of your rights.
Actually, I have rights because of women. I have rights because women
You have rights because
of
men.
The reason why I'm able to vote is not because of men, but because of hard-working women.
And who allowed it?
A few good men.
Who allowed these things to happen? Men, not a few. A lot of good men.
Did you ever suck the jelly out of a jelly donut and then fill it with chocolate swirl ice cream?
I like to stuff a jelly donut with Reese's peanut butter cup, then put it in a warm oven and let the chocolate and everything melt into the dough.
Like, there's no... The country's going to be minority white, and then a lot of people hate white people. Like, white people aren't, like, violent to that degree.
Yeah, I'm in my phone. Have you ever heard of postcard lynchings?
What?
Postcard lynchings.
No.
So, all the way up into the 1960s, when black people got lynched, many people would take photos of those lynchings, and what they would do is they would put them on postcards and knicknacks, and people would spread them around. I won't show this on camera, but here's an example of what I'm talking about. This is called the dogwood tree.
Open the border right now.
These were knickknacks. So, if you want to say white people weren't violent, can I read you the poem on the bottom of this postcard?
No, I know about slavery.
This isn't about... No. This isn't slavery. No, 1908. This is 1908.
They turned us into soaps and lamps.
This is from 1908. This is long past slavery.
I know.
This is the only branch of a dogwood tree, the emblem of white supremacy, a lesson taught in the pioneer school, that this is the land of the white man's rule. The red man once in an early day was told by the whites to mend his way. That, I can't say the word, the N-word, now, by eternal grace, must learn to stay in the N-word's place. In the sunny south, the land of the free, let the white supreme forever be. Let this be a warning to all N-words be, or they'll suffer the fate of the dogwood tree. And in it there is 5 black men hung. This is from 1910, and this actually is one of the most common ones. It circulated until 1960 and was sold in the South. So, yes, white...
Are you do you know the history of Palm Beach? No. They created it. It was like a sandbar that they built up. And then they hired a bunch of black people to come on the island and build all the houses. They finished it. And then the island held a big party to celebrate. And then they torched all their houses.
They torched their houses?
Torched the houses.
After they were done building the mansion?
Yes.
While they were celebrating, their homes on the island burned down mysteriously. Forced them out of there and took the land.
And it's the wealthiest piece of real estate in the country right now. This was part of the playbook.
I like to shit. You like to shit. We like to shit. This is shitting.
Mexican mariachi was built on West African rhythm, indigenous ceremony, and Spanish instruments fused together in Western Mexico, especially in Jalisco, Michoacán, Colima, Nayarit, Guerrero, and along the Pacific coast. Most people, when they think about mariachi, they think that it's only Spanish and indigenous, but there is a West African component to this music. To understand mariachi, you have to understand how colonization and slavery in Mexico forced different people into the same world and reshaped everyday life. When Spain invaded the region, it set up a colonial system built on forced labor. From 200,000 to 500,000 West African people were brought into New Spain through the transatlantic slave trade. By the colonial period, people of West African descent formed a significant part of the population in places like Jalisco, Michoacán, Colima, and Nayarit. Within this colonial world, people of West African descent lived alongside indigenous communities and Spanish settlers. Indigenous people were also pulled into the missions, ranches, and agriculture, and under the caste system, they had children with people of West African descent and of Spanish descent. Creating mixed communities, these 3 cultures fused together and created what we now know as mariachi. Before mariachi had a name, indigenous communities already held ritual gatherings called mitotes. These were communal ceremonies. That is where the fandango emerges. Fandango is a West African diasporic word and practice that arrived in colonial Mexico through African communities formed during the colonial period. In colonial Mexico, the word fandango came to describe a long communal gatherings where people sang, danced, ate, drank, and celebrated together, often for hours or days. So the indigenous ceremonies of the mitote and the West African diasporic fandangos merged together and created this space. When Spanish authorities in colonial Mexico outlawed West African drums, West African rhythms adapted instead of disappearing. West African and Afro-descended communities in Mexico turned their bodies into the instrument. So zapateado developed within this context as a West African diasporic dance form rooted in Mexican colonial life. People raised a wooden platform, the tarima, and used their feet to strike it, keeping complex polyrhythms alive through the movement. In Mexico, zapateado allowed West African rhythms to continue openly, turning dance into percussion, making the floor itself a part of the music. Mariachi originated in Western Mexico, especially in Jalisco, Michoacán, Colima, Nayarit, Guerrero, and the Pacific coast. As people from these regions moved from ranching, mining, and agriculture and trade, mariachi moved with them, reaching Alta California, or today's California, while it was still part of Mexico. Communities from these regions continued holding fandangos and mariachi gatherings there as part of community life. What many people recognize today took shape shape later when mariachi entered radio, film, and national stages. Many famous mariachi singers and icons came to represent the image, even though the music itself grew out of a deeply mixed communities shaped by West African, indigenous, and Spanish life together. So next time you listen to some mariachi, remember that it carries West African roots too.
Fork found in fucking kitchen. Understand, this is Amy Bach. She's a white woman. Just so we passed that, right? She's a white woman. This is Amy Bach, who made false claims to the United States government in order to gain $250 million, with claims saying that she was going to feed hungry children. So the leader of the Somali scammers is not even Somalian. Now, as you know, in the United States of America, the largest domestic terrorist group in America is not immigrants, it's white people.
On January 6th, rioters caused around $3 million worth of damage to the U.S. Capitol.
Hey, help yourselves, guys! It's on the house! It's on the house!
And party.
Three smoke in the Capitol, boys!
One rioter told me it was like a bunch of frat bros stormed the Capitol. People smoked and got drunk and high.
Oh, we're smoking weed in the fucking... Yeah! Time to smoke weed in here!
The damage was not just inside the building. Outside, rioters destroyed cameras from the media.
Fucking traitors! Get the fuck out of here! Get the fuck out of here!
Convicted rioters were supposed to pay restitution to help with the cost of fixing the Capitol, but when President Trump issued mass pardons for the defendants, they no longer had to pay.
Speaking of DEI, tonight from a sister over on the Clock app, I learned about this guy, Christopher Dunch, a neurosurgeon in Texas who has been sentenced to life in prison. And y'all, wait till you hear about the stuff that he did. So y'all, he has been called Dr. Death for the 33 incidents of gross neurosurgical malpractice while working at hospitals in Dallas-Fort Worth area. He maimed 31 patients and caused 2 deaths. He was accused of injuring 33 out of 38 patients in less than 2 years. He was allowed to continue practicing because hospital officials and regulators found it hard to believe a surgeon could be so incompetent and dangerous. And y'all, this ain't the worst of it. When he was in medical school, he had issues, but they ignored those issues, kept pushing him through. This man even caused his friend, he operated on his friend, and his friend has been left paralyzed. He also, on another case, mistook part of a neck muscle for a tumor and abandoned the operation midway through. After he cut into this man's vocal cords, he punctured an artery and sliced his esophagus. Then he stuffed the wound with gauze and sewed him back up with the sponge inside. This man had to go through so much therapy, and he still has residual effects from this whole thing. But yet they want to talk about DEI and black people being passed through the system. No, this is who passes through the system. People like him. And because of him being a white man, also a neurosurgeon, neurosurgeons bring a lot of money to hospitals. This is why he was able to harm so many people. And it reminds me because, you know, my mother passed away last month, and I was complaining to the hospital administration about doctors, and the head doctor who was over all the doctors would just ignore me or just say, oh, I can't believe it. This doctor's been here 10 years. Example of DEI and a reason we have to advocate for our people.
I like to shit. You like to shit. We like to shit. This is shitting.
Give me the top most 3 destructive things that you feel like is happening in the black community.
Music is number 1. There's no greater influence on the culture than music. Music can be, listen, bro, listen. You had snake charmers. A snake is one of the most vicious, cold-blooded creatures in the world, right? Yeah. Snake charmers in India use what? To soothe. Music. Oh, yeah. Right? They use instruments. They use sonic waves to hypnotize cobras, right? So you can't tell me that music and sonic vibration don't have impact on living things, because they do, right? And when you push and you promote the most negative aspect of black culture through music and through a tribal beat, what the fuck do you think inspires? You telling me, my nigga, you can't tell me you ain't listening to Chief Keef, Finito. You can't tell me they ain't turning. Listen, you can go to a club. We can go to a club tonight. Have them drop Pooh Shicey song on there. Is that gonna make you want to go to church? Make you want to hug your woman? Hell no. It make you want to drill some shit. You put any NBA YoungBoy on and it's a murder. It's as simple as that. So music, hip hop, is one of the most destructive tools for black America. Hip hop is number 1.
On why Mexicans should not use the N-word. Because Emiliano Zapata was part black. Because Lupita Nyong'o was born in Mexico. Because Indian and black runaway slaves formed quilombos that fought off slave hunters for decades. Because they fill their prisons with black and brown bodies just like they did their ships. The criminal justice system is the new middle passage. Police brutality, the new genocide. Because Vicente Guerrero, the first black president in North America, threatened war against the United States if they tried capturing any runaway slave in Mexico. Because La Bamba was an African song sung by slaves in the fields of Veracruz. Hermano, I like hip hop too. And I understand that your favorite rapper drops this word every other line, so tell me this. How many times have you smiled every time someone's called you a beaner? Hermana, does it make you want to wave your hands up in the air like you just don't care when someone calls you a wetback? Come on, we are so fly they call us illegal aliens. We are so sexy they call us dirty Mexicans. You should not play music for your ignorance when you say this word. Does it feel as if you have a cotton gin fan tied around your tongue? Does your mouth feel as bloody as Foobell Station? Does it feel like you're a strange fruit, a broken branch dangling, swaying, surrounded by Klansmen and children cheering because there is one less of you, hermano?
I don't know how much more our brains and hearts can take of our system just looking the other way in the face of ample evidence of human trafficking going on literally everywhere. So the Port of Los Angeles has been a very notorious human child trafficking hotspot, right? It's like drone footage that goes over the Port of LA always shows people having written help, people having written save us. And now there's children screaming in the containers that the workers can hear. And the police does what? Literally nothing? Like, that is more than enough to get a search warrant to go shut it down. I don't get how the system actually just fucking looks the other way. This is what our taxpayer dollars are going to, by the way. Like, the system looking the other way. And I have to think that these cops must be complicit in it. Otherwise, why wouldn't they be fucking doing something? They've got to be complicit. And I did write a paper in college about human trafficking, and frequently officers are complicit. They are helping. They are enabling.
Okay, so I got the transcripts. Mitch, we have to bring slavery back. Those were the good old days. Kevin, how will we do that? There's no way we can do that. Mitch, black people won't do it, but white people will. Kevin, how will we get white people to be slaves? That sounds ridiculous. Mitch, we have to get rid of the separation of church and state. We must have state-funded religious schools. Kevin, I don't see where you're getting at. Mitch, those schools will have work programs for 4th through 8th graders. Kevin, I think I see where you're going here. How is that going to work? Mitch, we get the kids to pick all the produce as a part of their work program to teach them the values of good old-fashioned blue-collar labor. and the bounty of God. Kevin, I don't think that anyone will go for that. Mitch, it's all about grooming. Start in the 1st grade, and by 4th grade, they'll be ready to do it. Kevin, but we already have people to pick the produce. Mitch, we have to finish the wall. Kevin, no way that's going to happen. Mitch, we find better ways to get the immigrants out of the United States. Kevin, like doubling ICE. Mitch, yes. Kevin, this will be too hard, and we'll be too busy trying to sustain this over long periods of time and generations. Mitch, no, we get rid of the abortion laws in the United States and we make it mandatory that all 8th grade females be impregnated in order to graduate. Kevin, oh, like replacing the crops. Ha ha ha, pun intended. Also, Kevin, I will work on getting the abortion banned. You work on state-funded religious schools. Mitch, we don't have to do either. Lindsay and I took care of that with the new SCOTUS.
Survivors describe Jay-Z and Beyonce being there on at least 3 occasions, laughing, directing, even killing when the moment felt right. I'm an inspector with the Lagos State Police Command, 15 years on the force. I've seen corruption, I've seen crime, but nothing like this. We have names, dates, locations, credible enough to open a formal case. My team wanted to move fast, issue international arrest warrants, request Interpol red notices, question Jay-Z and Beyonce through diplomatic channels. We had enough to bring them in for questioning, to seek real justice for the victims and their families who still wait for answers. But then the calls started, not from Abua, from Aya, very high. The message was the same every time. Drop it, shut the file, no further action. They said if we pursue this, if we name the celebrities or push for extradition, billions in development funds, health programs, security assistance would be gone overnight.
6 55-gallon drums of sulfuric acid. And there's the wire transfer for 6 55-gallon drums of sulfuric acid. Now, that's a lot of acid to clean a swimming pool or for a filtration system. I mean, then you consider the fact that there's a trap door that goes straight to the ocean from the Epstein mansion. Then you consider that by their own acknowledgement, Epstein trafficked 250 women. 250 women. We've heard from but a handful. Where are the rest of them? And I'm not trying to get all Hannibal Lecter on you, but there's some questions that need to be answered. I mean, that you have employees describing cleaning up after these young girls gave massages and taking out condoms, sending flowers to high school girls. I mean, this is not a situation that's going to end quietly because Bondi gets on the tube and screams, the Dow is over 50,000, and Patel says there's no evidence. No, he testified there's no evidence that anyone other than Jeffrey Epstein trafficked these girls. It's like, dude, Ghislaine Maxwell? I mean, how do you even say that? And I think I saw an interview that I'm sure many people did with Melinda Gates, Bill's wife, Rex, and it's pretty well understood, for whatever that means, that part of the reason they got divorced was his association in Epstein or coming out or whatever. And she was, the reporter asked Miss Gates, you know, let's talk about the elephant in the room, your husband being in the Epstein files and his association. She said something to the effect of, look, that's not my problem. That's my ex-husband's problem. But the only thing I can tell you is there's going to be a reckoning in this country like we've never seen. And when I heard Melinda Gates say that, I just kind of grabbed my cup of coffee and went, damn. I mean, you know, I don't know what's coming, but I don't think we've seen 1/100th of what's in there. And if Bill Clinton trafficked those girls, he should go to hell in a handbasket. If Trump, if whomever, Wexler, whomever, if they defiled these young women, and this is coming from a career defense lawyer, they need to pay every possible price for it.
Hey guys, it's December 17th. It's 1-something in the afternoon here, and I'm with JB. And JB's talking to us about who?
James Alefontis.
James Alefontis. Now JB went to St. Albans.
Went to St. Albans.
From DC, and he's got a story to tell us. So let's hear it.
Restaurant.
for Carol Greenwood. Yep. Remember the day James Alphonsus walked in the door and asked for a job? Mm-hmm. Carol's son, 11 years old at the time, a friend of mine caught James butt fucking this boy in the kitchen, and that person, his name is Dylan Greenwood, has since committed suicide. I think it was 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. James is one of the dastardly worst person in the world. And yeah, they do bad things. They comment. There are underground rooms, all that stuff.
And you've seen that with your own eyes?
I've seen that with my own eyes.
So you've been below the floor of Comet?
It used to be the Thai room.
The Thai room before it was Comet?
Yes.
Yeah. Right by the zoo.
It's a little farther down from the zoo. It's more in...
not that far, I mean.
It's Nebraska.
It's on Connecticut Avenue.
Nebraska and Connecticut.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a fact. James Alphonsus is a bad person to this day.
And you met him when he was applying for a job or something?
He was trying to get the manager job with Carol at that restaurant.
How did he get so much money, that guy?
Probably selling kids and trafficking kids.
And you've been below Comet Pizza. You've seen what it looks like.
I've seen rooms and I've seen tunnels that go other places, including underground to the other buildings. I think one was owned by like a Clinton Foundation or something across the street.
Yeah.
But the tunnels go all over there.
They say they go all the way to the White House, but I don't know.
I don't know if they go all the way to the White House, but that area in and of itself, if they go a mile in that area in any direction, they're hitting some spots.
Okay, man. Thanks for the information.
Yep.
Nice to see you.
That's what we can do. Hope you can post it.
I will.
The reason why he's in diapers, and I made a video about this, but a few people can't find it and are asking me to make it again, is because of a person named Sasha Riley. Sasha Riley, who now goes by they, them pronouns, was a young boy who was sex trafficked on Epstein Island, and they came out with this whole testimony. It's really, really heartbreaking, but the reason why Donald Trump wears a diaper is because he had demanded, because it's not consensual, he demanded that Sasha Riley put a tent pole in his anus in a sexual manner, and Sasha Riley kicked it. So, leading to obvious damages of the gastrointestinal tract. So, Donald Trump has been in a diaper since then. And I believe Sasha Riley. So, that's why Donald Trump wears a diaper. So when people are like, oh, you're making fun of Donald Trump for wearing a diaper, he's ableist, you're being ableist and whatever, the reason why he's wearing a diaper is because he had to, is because he sexually abused children.
I like to shit. You like to shit. We like to shit. This is shit.
Did you notice how quiet everyone got after the Epstein files dropped? No riots, no arrests, just silence.
Because the files didn't expose new crimes. They exposed old protection. Names linked to power, money, governments, people who don't go to court. They erase headlines.
So that's why Epstein died.
Officially, yes. Unofficially, cameras fail, guards sleep, and the most connected man in the room disappears, along with the answers.
But the files are public now. Doesn't that change everything?
That's the illusion. Releasing documents without consequences is control. You're allowed to know, just not allowed to act.
So justice was never the plan.
No, the plan was time. Because outrage fades. Power doesn't.
Then why release them at all?
To remind you who's untouchable.
It's not just Ghislaine Maxwell, but her brother too, both spotted in Canada. Or is it the Goblin Alan Dershowitz? Watch closely.
You? Do I know you?
Same teeth, same nose, same hooding of the eyes, same lips, same laugh lines. We already know this isn't the same person. She literally did a double take when he said Ghislaine. Closely.
You? Do I know you? You? Do I know you?
Is this why she was moved to a new prison? And the prison gives her an umbrella so we can't see her face when we take photos? And if you haven't seen the melodramatic footage of her pacing around in her cell, it doesn't even look like her. It's some other woman. No, sorry. No? It's even the same eyebrow arch. You guys, I'm totally convinced. It's the same person. What is she doing in Quebec? I'm pretty much convinced that Epstein is alive and this biatch is out of prison too.
Oh, you hell of pizza off of her.
Oh, really? It's the brother.
Yeah.
And is it the brother or is it Alan Dershowitz? Because I really can't make up my mind. Because this is an older photo, like years back when she was first in court. So he could have aged. But also, he looks like the gremlin Alan Dershowitz. somebody who thinks who is it? Oh, and all of this conveniently happened the same day that Andrew was arrested in his hometown. You know, the king's brother, King Charles over there on the other side of the world.
Sign that says question reality. And what does it show? The ball earth. How obvious can it be? You see this right in plain sight. Pretty unbelievable how the so-called elite love to mock us, and the toy soldier comes to life. He starts fiddling with his computer that said question reality. So Ferdinand Magellan, our fabricated history, everything is a lie. And the moon landing, of course they're going to show this. The biggest hoaxes in history with this image of Antarctica that flashed very briefly on the screen. Interesting enough, they show this image as well. In the Antarctica with all these flags and the dome. Of course, mockery.
Yo, sus is on they top. She's on them.
Hey, so you guys want to see something wild and crazy? Kind of like a big fat lie? Yeah, so you know how we've been learning that the transatlantic slave trade, I'm going to read it from Google. The transatlantic slave trade was a 16th to 19th century maritime system that forcibly transported over 12.5 million African men, women, and children to the Americas for enslaved labor. You know how we learned that, right? Well, can somebody explain this? Because, you know, that was a business and all businesses track all their records, right? So explain this. So because it's Black History Month, I wanted to do a little digging. So I went on slavevoyages.org. Even on the main website, it says explore the voyages that relocated more than 12 million enslaved Africans across the world, right? And we learned that most of them came to the Americas, correct? Okay, let's see. So I wanted to see voyages from Africa to the Americas specifically because 12 million, that's a lot of voyages. So I wanted to see the dates and all the information. So I went ahead and put vessels departure, Africa. And as you can see, it adds several countries, all of the Western countries. And then I put place where vessels voyage ended. And I selected mainland North America. And of course, I'm expecting thousands of voyages, right? So let's see. Surely the records are accurate because this was a business and a lot of money was spent, right? Why is there only one voyage from Africa to the Americas in 1803? One, with a total of 109 embarked and 106 disembarked. That is way less than 12 million. And I know you're thinking, well, no, they brought them to the Caribbean and to Brazil. So I did that filter as well. I changed the vessel's departure from Africa. And places where the voyage ended, I selected mainland North America, Caribbean, Spanish mainland Americas, and Brazil. And I thought for sure I would see thousands of voyages. And would you look at this? Only 2 voyages from Africa to the Americas. So I went to decide to do a sum total to see how many Africans came to the Americas. And would you take a look at this? Captives embarked, 414. Captives disembarked, 408. That is a hell of a lot less than 12.5 million.
Not to mention, if you actually see here, captives embarked from American countries in mainland North America to other mainland North American countries in the Caribbean, you see the numbers are almost 10 times more drastic. You see that? So that means, just like Martin Luther King said, we were captives in our own land.